Yeah, still in limbo a little bit. We had an SEC call this morning, and we're told to be on alert that there may be further cancellations within the league that could affect rescheduling of some games as early as tomorrow. So we are in the very definition of limbo. Don't know whether to plan for an opponent, which opponent, or just practice. So holding pattern. For future for what is possible as far as the cancellation goes. I think we saw it all creeping up on us. We were hopeful that we would be immune to it, but we weren't. We're disappointed that we can't get the season off to the start that we hoped it would be, but at this point it's just like we teach our kids: you deal with the things you can control, and this is not one of those things.
Paul, go ahead.
Okay, well, let's start here, Mike. You said kind of in limbo. You mean in limbo with regard to playing Ole Miss, or
Ole Miss is out? Yeah, that is not possible. But due to other cancellations, you could pick up another opponent that you were going to play later in the year, possibly.
Okay.
If you can arrange the travel and they're healthy. So yeah, the Ole Miss game at Ole Miss, that's a no-go for the scheduled date and time is tomorrow. The limbo part is, do we play another team that is healthy but lost a game? Okay. And then it's a matter of, do they have their venue? Do you have your venue? All of that stuff. Can you get a plane? There's a lot of shortages on that side of the coin too. Even with all the cancellations, you'd think there'd be, maybe availability, but there's not as much when you start trying to get all the pieces lined up.
Okay.
We tried numerous non-conference opponents as well, because if you look at the calendar, the SEC calendar this year did not have common bye dates, and there's just not much of a place to put another game. We couldn't find anything that made geographic timing sense. So we did feel like it was better then to save. Don't schedule a non-conference game, which would preclude you from being able to make up a game later down the road. Let's wait to see. There's obviously going to be more cancellations. Let's kind of pull that poker chip back. Let's hold on to that and have that flexibility maybe toward the end of the year or when things start to smooth back out.
Okay. Well, I would also ask, does this mean, are you guys going to go back to maybe some of the deals you guys did last year? Are you going to be more restrictive?
I don't know, Paul. I mean, okay. It hasn't hit us yet.
I understand.
And it does get frustrating when we've done all the things that we did.
Sure.
We didn't have a Christmas party.
Yeah.
Our kids wanted to, but I had to be the Grinch or Scrooge or whichever Christmas villain you want to insert there and say, no, it's not a good idea. Well, other teams are doing it. Yeah, they are. So it gets to be frustrating. It gets to be empathetic or sympathetic. I don't know the difference between those two words for our kids, because we've already done all that, Paul. We traveled the day of we did all that. And I'm at the point where I'm like, well, if we're going to do all those things and it's still going to happen, and I'm not going to be able to go down there and say, hey, here's a little something for you doing the right thing. Man, at some point in time, you finally just go, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't have all the information. It tends to be changing rapidly.
Sure.
But I'm at the point where I'm as worried about them again mentally as I am physically. So I'm going to err on that side of things.
Sure.
We'll probably do some small things, but micro things, but not macro things.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, no, totally makes sense. So I guess as of right now today, your focus is Tennessee?
Yes. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That's who I have on my desk right now. Poor Jeff Brazil has been running around here with video going, who do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, it might be somebody that we didn't have scheduled to play until February. I don't know. But I also know that the one thing our group is equipped to handle is adversity and adapting under that. This group's good at that. So if they tell us we're playing somebody other than Tennessee, we'll try to do the best we can. But
Okay,
yes,
so-
Tennessee's on my desk.
Okay. Okay. So what you're telling me is there's a possibility you might not play Tennessee on Sunday?
No, I think we're playing Tennessee on Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to feel pretty confident about that one.
Okay.
But there may be a game before that.
Okay.
That's what the possibility is still here at. And by the way, it's 10:06. That statement is only good until 10:07.
Yeah, fair point.
Fair,
Okay.
good enough.
Yeah. Fair point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are preparing that you could play a game, like I said, before Sunday. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we are. We're worried about us. We got practice at noon. We talked about maybe trying to move that back to see if that would give extra time, and we may find out in the middle of practice. I don't know, but I know that we'll pivot in the direction that's, if it's safe,
okay,
and it's in our kids' best mental health interest and the best for the league to play a game, and well do it.
Okay.
So that's who this team's been built around. And they don't want to change that. They want to play.
Yeah.
That is one thing that has remained rock solid, consistent with this group. They don't care who, they don't care when, they don't care where, they just want to play.
Well, and I guess I would ask too is, how is this team different with, you got a lot more younger kids than you did a year ago. I mean, you had a bunch of seniors who seemed to kind of roll with the punches. Any worries that maybe this team deals with it a little differently?
Not worries. I mean, I'm sure they will.
Okay.
They're good, high character kids. They're very high character kids. They have been very adaptable to almost seeking out adverse situations, like make it harder on us. Like team got up 21-7 yesterday, and every ball that went out of bounds was a bad call by Mike Neighbors. It was awful. And everybody just looked at each other and went, road rules, here we go. So no, I don't think they'll handle it maybe in a different way, but I think they'll handle it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we still do have good leadership, and the character of
Sure.
the young kids is impeccable.
Yeah. Well, obviously you still have Michaela, you still have Ramirez, you have people who are good, strong leaders.
Yep. Riley Langerman, Aaron Barnum, Alana Eaton.
Right.
You know, again, just because Alana and Aaron and Riley didn't play doesn't mean that they weren't part of some of those decisions and going through it. So Destiny Oberg, all those kids. I'm knocking on wood behind y'all. Y'all can't see it, but off the court worries for us are very, very, very minimal. Good, high character, quality kids.
You told me earlier that Emory and Amber were back. Good. You feel like they're ready to go? Those two.
Yeah. Emory gets really her red cheeks get a little red real fast when she's been out of practice for a little while. But she's great with it. She'll just look over and kind of go, "I need a sub." She could play the minutes that she had been playing, though. You know, that 20 minutes. There's no problem. She looks good. She feels good. Most importantly, Amber is never going to look tired. And her, you know, since I've known her, she either covers it up well or doesn't get tired. So they're both back. They're both back. And Sailor made it to campus, and we're just waiting for her to clear all of her medical admissions to get her back.
Okay. All right. Hey, you got something, Porter?
Yeah, you talk about the mental state. Just talk about, we thought we kind of kicked this thing, college football season, made it till the bowl season, and we started seeing this creep up. So, I mean, as a staff and players as a whole, I mean, what was the mindset when you started seeing this kind of starting to come back?
I think, again, we went back into information gathering mode. They're starting to become there. For a while it was all pretty consistent, but now it's coming at you from all kinds of different angles and different viewpoints and different sources, more importantly, probably. So it was trying to kind of get everybody back to, who are we going to trust to believe on what's real and what's maybe not. So it puts kids in a tough situation yet again. And it is that human nature of, oh, here we go again. Are we going back to this? As a group, it probably brings you together a little bit and says, all right, a reminder that let's again control the things we can control. We don't know all the information. We don't have all the details. And we've been through this before. And the best way to get through it is to trust a very small group of people that you trust, and then make those decisions from that point. So going back to that stage of the hierarchy of your trust factor, reestablishing that, and then being aware that, if you're out in public, have a mask on. If you're out in public, don't put yourself in a situation that could be viewed as being detrimental to the overall helpfulness and goodness of your team. So just reminders. I'm glad that we're not in school right now in classes, because we've got them a really captive time. This is an awesome time of the year for basketball people, because we don't have tutors, and we don't have projects and classes to be taken. We can really focus in on basketball. So I'm glad it fell at this time during the holidays, so that we can be with our kids a lot more, and a lot more, not only just time, but just in a relaxed environment to have crucial conversations.
And on the subject of, you're talking about being able to play anybody at any time and how the team's up for, how much confidence of that UConn game last year gives this team this year? Like, hey, we went up against the best on short notice. We're ready to take on anybody anytime.
Well, and that's where I go back to sometimes, to me, if you don't do that, you're questioning the kids that you have in your program. You're questioning their competitiveness and their integrity. And okay, yeah, we had 6 kids that day that tested positive that morning of the UConn game. We could have canceled that game. But what kind of message would that been for us to send to those kids that could play? And I think it is, like you're talking about, they draw back on that and they go, hey, if we can do that, and we can do anything. And it doesn't have to be expected. So I think that's that life lesson that we all gain something from. And that's why I think it's important that we not pivot back and become not that people. If that's who we are, that's who we're going to stay to be. We'll play. If we reach the minimums, that if the SEC says the number is 7 and 1 healthy coach, that's what we're going to do. So I love the fact that our kids have never, ever wavered from that way of thinking. And I think that obviously speaks to their upbringing and our university's commitment to keeping them healthy. And they do trust. They trust what our athletics department and our doctors are telling them. So that's the big picture. That's the big win right there, Porter, is that these kids have learned that lesson, hands-on wise, dealing in their situation. Now some of them we're going on, almost 20 months of dealing with it like this. So it's kind of become who they are.
And on the aspect of getting a game in, is it imperative for the team to try to get a game in before Tennessee? That way they're not rusty going into the SEC play, or is it just the kids want to play that bad?
I think they want to compete. So if we've been competing in practice, we will have something tomorrow. If we don't have an opponent in a different unit, we'll do a red-white game. We'll do a scrimmage versus our guys practice team. We'll go through a game day simulation. We'll have a pregame meal. We'll have our normal shoot-around type things that we do. We'll treat tomorrow like a game day, whether we have, tickets being sold to it or not. And I do think that's important, because establishing those routines, especially heading in. I'm glad that it's almost feels like it's not going to interrupt. It's just delaying. It'll be really hard to watch those other games that are happening in the league tomorrow night on the network, knowing that we're not going to be you don't want to have a bye your first week of the SEC. You want that bye to come in January, into January and February. So it'll be hard, but we'll find a way to do something in practice to be competitive, and still be ready to play on Sunday against obviously one of the top ranked teams in the country.
That's all I've got, Coach. Thank you.
Coach, you want to talk a little bit about that team that we think we know that we're going to play on Sunday in Tennessee?
I'll do my best. I haven't watched a bunch yet because, again, I've been thinking that we were going to play somebody different, and I've been worried about us. Obviously, they've got good wins. I think their only loss is to Stanford, if I'm not wrong about that. I know they're ranked in the top 10. I'm voting them even higher than that just because of the way the inertia of the poll has been going. Tremendous size. That's always been a problem for us is they do have a rim protector. They have long guards, and that size has always given us a problem. I think they're very confident right now. They've won, they won at Central Florida, a place that we weren't able to win. Again, I don't have probably enough to talk very in depth, but I could probably answer general questions if y'all need something generally.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is you kind of hit on a little bit. I mean, their overall size, not just key, not just the big one, but overall they're long. I mean, that's one thing that gives you guys has given you trouble in the past, right?
Yeah, it has. It's something that has been a little bit of our kryptonite, and they rebounded. I know they're one of the top teams in the country in rebounding, so you don't get very few second chances, and they get a lot of second chances. And those types of teams have given us a struggle as well. Getting Amber back in there, even though Amber's not tall, she tries to rebound every single time, and as a result, gets 4 or 5. So those will be helpful. But yeah, their overall length at every position is Mari key. But they have certainly have a rim protector, which bothers us sometimes as well. It'll be a good challenge if that ends up being our next one.
Yeah. When do you expect? I mean, like you said, sometime today. I mean, they could turn you around and play tomorrow. Is that
the SEC has a policy that says 36 hours ahead of time, which we've passed that. But if you just mutually agreed upon, you can go ahead and play it. It would have to obviously fall into pieces really fast to either host or go on the road. There's a lot of logistics. We kind of, because Amber Shirey is so good at what she does, sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle how many moving parts there are to move a travel party from Fayetteville to an SEC location. I would tell you that it's every minute that goes by, it probably is less likely that we will have an opponent in another uniform. So, but something could have changed since 10:06 too. And I got my phone went off about 8 times. So there may be a game already scheduled I'm not aware of. So we'll recall. Mario will reach out to you and say, delete that file, and we'll go again.
BetOnline has you covered for all the holiday season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all sports action. Head to our new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus with the promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV to receive your bonus. And it's not just football. BetOnline has pro and college hoops, NHL, boxing, UFC, even your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports.